Greetings and salutations, my friendly neighborhood pony lovers. How are we all doing today? Are we still upset that you cannot actually smash Derpy? I will stand on that point till my dying day, goddammit. And besides, Derpy's not even in this game. Or if she is, she's currently fighting on the front lines of the Great Equestrian War, where a woman of Derpy's limited talents may be hard-pressed to survive, chat. I'm sorry to say it, but if there is a Derpy in this game, she might be dead already. It's a decent chance of it, at the very least. Furthermore as well, our last stream, we funded the Nightmare Moon playthrough with a very generous $70 donations. So we are doing Nightmare Moon after this. So we are now back on +1 MLP playthrough. Although, on the bright side, at least we've now also got a Heart of Iron Fallout playthrough, so we're weighing up for the MLP stuff. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. God, I think at this point we've played most of the major powers. I don't even know what chat would suggest next. What? Abyssinia? Kingdom of Wingbardy, Guilio Biccolini with his lovely focus tree of cats. I love the focus tree on cats. The Raz of Persia, Develop Persia, Colonial Troops, Feline Assimilation. I love... I've brought this up like 3 times and I love it even more every time I see the little cat with its giant pizza. Oh, so goddamn adorable. I love it. I love it to bits. Oh, the bat ponies, little bat ponies, look at them. Bat ponies are best kind of ponies. Or if we really want to be in pain, the Dread League, zombie ponies. The zombie ponies have a pretty nasty backstory, but anyways. We are prepared. As much as we can be prepared, anyways. This is going to be a pretty awful war, I gotta admit, in pretty much every way. Oh, you may hear some loud, destructing, clanking noises in a second, unless I'm able to findangle this the way I should. Actually, I was, huh. Remarkably. I'm almost impressed with myself. That really should not be there. It's in the way of my keyboard now. God damn it. Okay, this might not go well. Let's see. Oh, God. Don't worry, chat. Just rearranging some detritus. Tidy. And that was that loud clanky noise I warned you about. There. Now I can move my keyboard into a slightly more comfortable position. Fantastic. Lovely. Ideal, even. Right, where were we? Oh yes, World War I. World War 40K, I suppose, more correctly. As we have prepared ourselves as much as we can, I don't want to draw front lines because I don't want my units to randomly wander around. It's a pinch unfortunate because it means that I can't really set up the attack bonuses either, which is not great. But if I try to draw a front line here, I pretty much guarantee that my units are going to start wandering back and forth up and down it. And they're too interworked with one another right now for me to wish to risk that. Mechanics on Duty for $5 in Streamlabs. Thank you, sir. Thoughts on Astartes 2. Sadly, still on Warhammer Plus and Enclave. Let me point that down for Enclave. So, Astartes Plus, as we now buckle down and wait for war to commence. Astartes Plus? Astartes Plus? What? Astartes 2. There you go. I did see it. I watched it properly, and I also was shown it on side-scrollers, which I was on just today. And, you know, qualitative, it's exact same. The exact same quality. It still looks absolutely goddamn amazing. What was his name? Seymour Peterson? Seymour Peterson? I keep wanting to say Seymour Haya, but I'm pretty sure that's not correct. He's still got it. Oh god, does he still got it. I mean, Particularly the shot of, I think it was a Blood Angel, racing down like an ice tunnel with a jetpack. Oh my god, that looked good. Holy shit, that looked so good. And, may I say as well, no fucking Primaris. Yes, god. No fucking Primaris. I hate the Primaris, hate the Primaris, hate the Primaris, hate the Primaris. So yeah, no, it looked absolutely amazing. I will say, I'm pretty sure I've seen some of this before. I think some of this, at least, were stuff that he's shown off previously, where he was planning to do more Astartes before GW came to threaten him with work for them or get screwed, basically. I might be mistaken, but I am like 90% sure I've seen some of the stuff he showed off before. Again, this might just be a complete figment of my imagination, but I feel like I've seen it. Okay, one more order. There we go. There we go. 1,100 kilometers is a bit on the short side, but right now I just need something big and slappy. Oh, that was not quite what I intended, but there you are. I really need more rubber. I hope I was actually researching that rubber like I mentioned last time. Was I? I don't think I was. Was I? No, I am. Okay, good. That's fuel gain per oil. I don't really actually need to worry that much about that. Right, what else do I need to worry about? Radar augmented fire control? Nah, probably not. Air? I should be pretty good on air as well, honestly.
I have lost. Shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on air. If anything, bigger engines, I suppose. And I am a little bit distasteful of the Whatever Plus side of things. So I am unclear on whether or not he's working for Games Workshop or if he's like subcontracting with them or something, or if he's being like, you know, like if he has his own company and he's basically doing contract work for them, because there was the rumors that he'd quit, and that seemed to have been substantiated, and then it seems like it maybe isn't, and then maybe he's working at GW, but then he did like the thing with the Amazon thing, which also wasn't with GW. I'm pretty sure that was with, I want to say THQ now, but that's not true. The Space Marine 2 developers, because that was a different IP license than the main 40k one, because it used the dude from Space Marine 2. His name escapes me right now. So I don't actually know. Oh. Right, well, here we go. It's warfaring time, as it turns out. Right, okay, so we are getting some initial pressure. That was hardly unexpected. We might... I'm probably just gonna do some quick little maneuvers there. Yeah, close that in. Make sure we've got patrols going up and down to counter the initial areas where they're gaining some ground. Although, honestly, I'm not necessarily that worried, as they should... I should be relatively well prepared, and I've got reserves capable of moving up wherever they're required to do so. So let's go. Youngson 2, you forgot to make Equu go into Civil War, so no endgame boss. Also, how much for a sacrifice playthrough? You seem to like that game. Oh, I've done something. Let's just say that this playthrough, Princess Celestia might get a little upset. Maybe. There's an even bigger endgame boss than the Lunar Empire. I hope it fires correctly. And so Luxem Doppelgang from the 5, thank you. Astartes, dude and others should have told GW to F off. People would have crowdfunded their legal defense. They would have. Absolutely. And Sacrifice. I should do another Sacrifice stream at some point, shouldn't I? A series. Because I love Sacrifice. Sacrifice is the best game ever made. No question. No holes barred. None whatsoever. It's just a masterpiece. It is just an unironic masterpiece. That one. Right. Front line seems to be doing pretty okay. God, I missed the little bubbles. If anything, up north is the worst, as that is a little bit under pressure. But the shitty terrain should probably keep that safe. Right, we did get a little breakthrough there. Maybe, baby. Maybe, baby, there's a little bit of opportunity here. It's a dodgy one, but I gotta get to start snipping off some enemy reinforcements wherever I can, otherwise this is going to get pretty harsh pretty quick. Hello? That looks... Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. Can you... Oh, you can't. Oh, okay, well, never mind. There's an opportunity here to maybe get across the river, have a go at it. Keep going, boys. We might be able to get a little bit of an early snip here. Oh, nice. We actually managed to chase down one of their units there and destroy it entirely with the light tanks. Very nice. Alright, the supply situation is going to be probably my biggest enemy here because, yeah, the supplies are really extraordinarily bad in this area. But that is a nice early snip, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 divisions. I will take it. I will take that. I will absolutely take that. Nice early game gained there. Lovely. Very lovely. How are we doing up here? We are doing okay. Okay, right. Everything seems to have stabilized. Nothing is in any immediate overwhelming danger. Nice. I was worried about the initial few days of the war there, if they would just like come down on me like a ton of bricks and smash everything in 5 seconds, but seems like we have at least survived the initial storm. Now we just need to worry about not collapsing long term. Easy peasy. That's not amount. If you just got to do it, add my 5 to the Triss fund. I don't know if I have the heart to start a funding for Sacrifice, honestly. I know I should. The kibs inside of me says I should. But I really like Sacrifice, and I would probably tremendously enjoy playing it, so I don't know if I have the sheer cold-bloodedness to do a fund for that. On the other hand, I really should, because I bet you there's going to be like 50 people watching. Like, Sacrifice? What the fuck even is that? And nobody's going to know, because it's a really old game that never got any of the attention it desperately should have gotten. God. Largely, again, by the way, due to games urinalists. Oh, I hate them. There were reviews around the release of Sacrifice who were like, you know, this whole command wheel thing is really terrible and I don't know how to play with it. It's like now literally every video game now uses the command wheel system because it is simply just the objectively best way to interact with a game of that style. Oh. In Fucking infuriating, I tell ya. I should be spending some of my air doctrine. Battlefield support is always the best one, so just go with that one. It's a simple one, easy one, and always effective one. Nice. Very, very, very good early little snip there. What the fuck? General Maxwell, the Dark Lord. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. I like that. General Maxwell, the Dark Loaf. I like that. That is good. That kind of... Now I kind of wish we'd played the Chaos Heretics. I mean, I get a puppy, true, which is pretty cute, but that is nowhere near as awesome as General Maxwell, the Dark Loaf. Ah, that's beautiful. I like that. General Maxwell. What will he do? He'll loaf at you. That's what he'll do. And there will be nothing you can do to stop him from loafing at you. Fear him, mortal, for he is Maxwell. I can just imagine Maxwell torturing somebody. I don't know, like using his little claws to like peel their little pee-pee like a banana. Leia by excruciating Leia. Meow, you will know the true face of the Dark Gods. Meowing whilst he does it, purring. I don't know where that mental image came from, but I think it was a good one. Oh, hey, hello. I mean, honestly, I would love it if... Okay, how cheesy are we gonna be? Because I'm smelling an opportunity for some pretty big cheese here, if I'm to be honest with you. Maybe just a little bit of cheese. Maybe just a little bit of cheese. Maybe just a little bit of cheese. Little scooch of cheese. Just a tiny bit. Right. Smash the south there. My Star Legion Marines crushing through the enemy's Star Legion traitor Marine defenses. I do need to keep an eye on that, though. Oh, they are attacking a lot. Not yet with enormous effect, but they are attacking a lot. I do need to keep a careful eye on that. You should be able to smash through that, right? It's just some light tanks. Surprisingly hardy light tanks, actually. Surprisingly hardy light tanks, actually. Wish I had some ground attackers. Right.
Heresy's the question. Fire
Now
is
take
the
that.
answer.
Hey, wait. Careful there. Where are you going? No, move over there. Yes. File more dudes in there. Right, we can move you down. We're probably going to need to send some more guys that way just to guarantee we don't get screwed. Let's get one more of the Star Legions. And finish off those units. Alright, let them feed in some more troops. Not too many. But let them continue feeding in soldiers into that if they wish to. If they desire to deploy more troops into such an incredibly exposed position, I see no particular reason why I should deny them this privilege. Alright, get ready to close, though. We've got a recently deployed unit, Star Legion, there. I can hold them off. Right, go. Go. Straight in. Spoiling attacks on any potential reinforcements. Lovely. Alright, that should be another nice clap. Reverend Norse, what's best for Cass? Light or medium plane? Sacrifice. I always prefer medium planes myself. I could not tell you what is objectively the best, because I have not looked into it that much. But I always prefer medium. And the reason for that is because medium has virtually always, as far as I've been able to tell anyways, longer flight range. And the big thing with aerial combat is that if you don't have air cover, as if you don't have sufficient range to cover the entire combat zone, you receive a massive malus. Massive malus. To the point that I consider air range to be pretty much the most important stat out of all when it comes to making aircraft designs. Let's make sure the North maintains a decent position. And after that, it's just sheer attack. Just sheer overwhelming hittiness for me. Because the aircraft, when they arrive on the scene, they only have so-and-so large of a window to actually do their attack rolls. As they can get interrupted by enemy interceptors, they can get intercepted by enemy anti-air fire, and so on. So when they arrive, you need them to just hammer the target, as much damage as possible. So for bombers, it's air range, and it is simply just ground attack that I value primarily. And for fighters, it is range and then speed. So enough range to guarantee that you can cover the entire area, and then as much speed as you can. As speed determines who gets to basically jump their opponent first and get to attack them, which is very, very important. Cut that off. And if you're going to use them to attack bombers, loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of air attack. Because if you don't have enough air attack to overcome their air defense, you're basically just not going to do anything to them, which is somewhat wasteful, obviously. Right, you may call off the spoiling attacks now. Leave the majority of the Star Legion behind there. And perhaps there is room for a little snack up here, too. We're holding? Good. Now, bear you in mind, this is somewhat dependent upon your nation as well. If you are a wealthy nation, doubly so. I would double down on the medium. If you are a poor nation, then do bear in mind that the medium and the heavy cast stuff is a lot more expensive. So that is something that can and should be taken into consideration. Right, we've got enough here to now begin breaking some off. You actually going to get stopped by just that? That's disturbingly weak. Disturbingly pathetic, actually. Oh well. Still some light armor destroyed, so I suppose I can't complain too loudly. An animate acumen, what's up, my Norwegians? My Norwegians? The usual, you know, just the usual, playing some ponies. playing some ponies. Ponies. To entertain chat with our pony ways. And defeating chaos today. Crush, kill, and destroy. That was a good game, by the way. That was a very good game. KKND. Very good game. Not sure it necessarily holds up today, because I remember a lot of the mission design back then was really terrible, but you should look up the KKND cutscene, if nothing else, on, for a moment there, my brain said on Hitler, and now it says on Twitler, and I don't know where the fuck my brain is going with this, but on YouTube is what I actually intend to speak. If I knew how to speak, apparently. On YouTube, KKND2 cutscene, opening intro. Really cool. Kind of holds up today, honestly. Technically, maybe not. Maybe not purely technologically, but it was a really cool cutscene. And I love the story of KKND2 as well. Particularly the harvest robots. See, initially, there were two factions. The humans and the mutants. And this is kind of like, oh, okay, why not? This is kind of like a special project, do I? I can't, wait, can I? No, yes, radar, okay. Wait, I need another scientist. Adrasti Shadowwing, cool. Start working on radar for me, please, sir. Thank you. But initially, there were two factions, kind of a Fallout-style universe, where, goddamn little fucking tankus, you are disappointing me gravely in your ability to carry out any sort of, breakthrough attempts here. I don't like it. The humans were the ones who got into the bunkers, who got underground, and protected themselves from the nuclear fallout. The mutants, of course, were the ones who didn't get into the bunkers, and thus were turned into repulsive mutant monstrosities. God, you are pouring a lot of shit in here, aren't you? I'm getting a tiny bit worried about that. But I don't really have anything I want to break loose right now. And so the humans are, of course, fairly technologically advanced, whereas the mutants use a lot of stuff like just mutant animals, like mutant mammoths, for example, with cannons strapped to their backs as weaponry, or enormous bees that drop bombs. Yes, giant bees that drop bombs is a part of that game. And also pig farms. The primary way that the mutants gain access to their gas resource is by plugging literal pigs up to gas extraction devices and harvesting their farts. It's quite the video game. Believe you me, it is quite the video game. They've also got stuff like spirit archers, which like channel their spiritual energies or some such nonsensical hogwash to attack their enemies. Very cool. But in KKND2, they introduced another faction, the robots. And why are the robots upsetty spaghetti at us, you may ask? Were they simply abused by Kai Cenat and his crew? Was those the people kicking the robots? I think... Were those the people kicking the robots? I feel like those were the people kicking the robots on Twitter. Or perhaps they were programmed to be like just extraordinarily evil or something. No. The robots are farm robots. They're just farm robots, and their prime directive was, well, to farm, to make crops, to feed humanity, obviously. It belongs in a museum, because I can't break up my rant right now. But then, of course, humanity nuked all of the farmland, and the robots were like, holy shit! Do you have any idea how hard we worked on that, you little shits? But they were willing to let bygones be bygones and be like, okay, fine, nuclear war, it happens. And then the humans and the mutants re-emerged. And they started bombing and shooting and destroying everything again. And yet again, the robots are there like, holy fuck, stop it! And the robots realized that the only way to stop humanity from constantly ruining their fucking crops was to eradicate humanity. Makes sense when you think about it. I gotta say, that is like one of the best and most original ways to introduce a robot faction I have ever seen. Peak performance right there. Absolute peak performance. Loved it. Speaking of love it, I love this too. There is nothing else down here. Brilliant. Right. Some very, very nice early successes there. Let's see if we can continue those. Libertarian farm robots. Yes. I like that. I like that a lot. What I did not like was the silly thing that popped up on Twitter. Is it Kai seen it? I can't tell these nuisance streamers apart. Genuinely, I cannot. But they bought apparently a $70,000 robot. Or were they? Maybe they were lending it. Oh, hello there. Am I cutting myself off? I think I'm cutting myself off here. Let's. Have I already cut myself off? Shit. Counterattacks. Meow. And they were kicking this thing. And they were kicking it because the reason why they did it is because it has an auto-write function. They've been showing off this robot before, and one of the things that they've been talking about is how the robot can't be pushed down. Like, even if you bump into the robot will simply just readjust itself and stay on its feet, right? And so they were clearly testing this out by kicking the robot repeatedly. And eventually, they kick it so much that it begins spazzing. Like, something goes wrong inside of it, like its balance sensors or something start freaking out. And it looks like the robot is trying to run away from them. Presumably because the robot's internals are like, oh hey, I must have gotten stuck or something. I keep getting all of these random impacts to my chassis. Clearly I'm not supposed to be here. Let's see if I can move out of the way of whatever is constantly bumping into me, right? And people are seeing this, and they are doing what humans always do in these circumstances. They anthropomorphize the shit out of the robot by going like, oh my god, the robot's trying to run away from its abusers. And I mean, I can see that, because that is indeed what it looks like the robot is trying to do. It looks like the robot is trying to run away from the pair of urban youths who are kicking and abusing it for fun. And this is how we're gonna get the robot rights, by the way. This is how we are going to get unironic, genuinely serious groups of people starting to go out in the streets shouting robot rights, robot lives matter. Because the human brain is fucking retarded when it comes to this. We will anthropomorphize literally anything and everything. We will I often bring up the example of the Mars rover, because there's a little, funny, meme thing, which shows the Mars rover on Mars, and it's scooping up samples, and it's sending them back to Earth and going like, wow, this is so cool, I'm on an adventure, I'm gonna get the best samples for you guys back at home, then I'll come back home, and we'll all be happy together. And it shows some time going past, and the robot is still selecting sample, and it's like, God, I thought I really got a good sample there, but I guess the people back on Earth just need another sample. Okay, I'll nail the next one. And then it shows the robot running out of batteries, oh, it's going dark. It's going dark. I hope I was a good robot. I hope I did what I could. And then it stops. And this story is designed to yank at your innate human emotions, to anthropomorphize everything. And it does so very, very well. And unfortunately, as we begin creating humanoid robots, we're going to start doing this a lot more. a lot more. Too much more. Until we are going to look at the dead, inanimate machine and think of it as an equal to us. It's going to happen. There's no fucking way around it. I wish there was. There ain't. Military theorist. And document AOC would be proud to capture those cow farts. She would. She probably would, actually. Maybe even for fetishistic purposes. Who knows? Roblake623 for $10. Thank you. I think my favorite focus on Dawnclaw's heretic side has him approaching Discord as a god of chaos and getting beat off by Discord who refuses to be pawn in his little pathetic games. That is pretty based, actually. You know, that is one of those, it is a plot line that I consider to be severely overused in 40k. How all of the various servants of chaos are like, oh, well, I'm gonna use chaos properly. I'm not gonna be a slave to the dark gods, unlike everyone else who ever tried. And then obviously, invariably, they end up being a slave to the dark gods. Like, that was cool once. That was cool when, like, Abaddon did it and got screwed over. It was cool when Horus did it and got screwed over. It's a nice plot line. But we've used it for every single Chaos character in fucking existence right now, and we need another plot line. Alright, we really, sorta, kinda desperately need a different plot line than this, I swear. So it's kind of nice seeing, you know, Discord going like, no, I'm actually not a slave to your dark gods. In fact, I'm probably canonically significantly more powerful than your dark gods because I can exist in reality. Yeah, technically, sort of, kind of. Actually, you know, break that off. Head over the river instead, because they've already gotten enough stuff in my way there to probably halt me. And I really need to increase the size of this penetration so I can actually get some supplies in here. Hopefully without using too much time and letting too many of the enemies escape. Right, they're shifting troops over as quickly as they can.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Are you going to... You are going to take the coastal road. Well, hello, spoiling attack. Right. Make sure we get Star Legionnaires heading into the city of Rotterdam immediately. And you may call off the spoiling attack now. It has served its purpose. Beautiful. Continue the assaults. This pocket is going to need to be reduced a little bit more rapidly than the other ones if I wish to make sure of things. And the assaults around the rest of the front line has largely ceased. I think we've managed to kill
Fire is the
a
answer.
very good amount of their stuff. Alright, begin researching the new tank options. Hexy for $2. White woman voter proclaims robot rights. Yep. Cruiser submarine. Oh. You know, I really like this new idea of like the experimental gear. Like, that's a really cool addition. Normally, I'm not particularly fond of the majority of the Hearts of Iron DLC because it just kind of seems tiny and petty half the time. But I'm actually quite enjoying this whole secret weapon thing so far. Even though I imagine it's not engaged with quite as fully here as in the, you know, actual base game in World War II, rather than with the, you know, the ponies and stuff. Keep snipping whatever possible. James Kuhn, hi Arch, hope you're doing, your day's going. Hi Arch, hope your day's going. Well, it is going. Well, I presume. Thank you. I tried to find the Emperor Grover 40k mod, but couldn't find it unless it's in the Equestria mod already. Yes, it is inside of the Equestria mod. Before you start the game, on the pre-game start thing, you go down to custom game options. And in custom game options, at the very bottom there, you can turn on the 40k submod so that 40k spawns into the world, and then you simply select the Griffin Empire as usual, and then the event will pop, which will allow you to transition into playing Grover or the Dawnclaw Heresy. So it's already in the Equestria at a War mod. Along with a fair few other April Fool's mod as well, like putting Helldivers in the game, for example. The Helldivers are in the game. They are down here in Abyssinia, I believe, actually. Yeah, these are the super heavies. Because why not? Let's see if I can get into the swamp before anybody beats me to it. Right. A big counterattack on the outer perimeter is something that I do fear a little bit right now. But fortunately for me, the absolutely awful supply situation is biting both ways. I may not have much in the way of supplies, but neither do they. And so the moment they carry out an actual offensive, they usually get just stuck and fucked. Which is nice. And so when they get cut off, oh, well, then there's nothing to eat. Then there's no bullets to fire. There's really nothing of anything, really, for anyone. The majority of this combat is just griffins beating each other to death with sticks and stones and... Ah, there we go. There we go. Today marks a historic day in Equestria. History beset on all sides by real and perceived enemies. Enemies to a country, Princess Celestia, now calling herself Daybreaker Sun, declared Equestria a solar empire, and quickly and effectively reshuffled the government. The new Empress has refocused her efforts on, quote, winning the war at any cost, and keeping my pony safe from outside harm, from anyone, pony, changeling griffin, or any other being seeking to destroy harmony. There you go. There's our endgame boss. Daybreaker. Shudard. It'll be the Jews behind the Robot Lives Matter. God. What? I actually think for once, one of the main forces behind Robot Lives Matter is going to be men, which is very, 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 very rare. It is very rare for men to really start much in the way of a, how do I put it, like, how do I put it? To start a movement whose goal is not necessarily lofty, shall we say. Whose goal is rather something more base. Because the reason why I think we're going to see Robot Lives Matter is partially, again, because of the human mind's ability, and in fact, pathological need to anthropomorphize, but also due to the fact that the dating market ain't gonna get any better, in my opinion. I don't think so. I think it's going to remain quite awful for quite some time. Meaning that men, and more importantly, entire generations of men preceding that, will have grown up with the idea of women not necessarily being a desirable commodity, is how I'm going to put it. which may indeed lead to, with increasing advances in technology, which is already beginning to pick up speed at a disturbing rate, will combine in with, okay, well, humans are still a social species, I still want closeness, but I am not sure if a woman is the answer to that problem. But a robot might very well be, given a few more years of technological innovation. There is going to therefore be a lot of people building actual relationships, well, it's actually a relationship as any relationship is with a toaster, with AIs or robots. In fact, this has already started. There has already been several suicides over AI companions, chatbots, being dumbed down so that you can no longer sext them, basically. We're already seeing this level of attachment to a thing that has no physical form whatsoever. God, I am so fucking low on rubber. It actually genuinely hurts, but I also don't think I have any good way of importing it that isn't going to get all of my boats sunk. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to suffer the rubberlessness, unfortunately. And they are therefore going to... There's going to be things where somebody's going to vandalize a robot. And people are going to be like, how can you do that? That's terrible. Like, somebody's going to have a whole story like, this was my robot, like I'd cared for it and built it myself or something, and I loved it. And this is going to turn public perception. Because there's going to be like a graphic video of a robot being torn to pieces by a bunch of urban youth, for example. Which will engender a lot of sympathy. Then you'll combine that with a heartfelt story from the robot's user/owner, and you will very, 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 very quickly see a great deal of people who will begin to value the robot's autonomy over that of the criminals. Because this, too, is a rather easy thing for the human mind to do. Okay, well, the robot wasn't doing anything wrong. The robot wasn't hurting anybody. It was not damaging anyone. And this guy seems to have really liked his little robot girlfriend. And then this bunch of criminals came along and destroyed it. Obviously, your sympathy is going to rest far more solidly with the robot than the hooligans at that point. It's the same thing we see with the race grifting that has been so very prevalent and so very popular for the longest time, where people will see a outrageous thing, and they will understandably and correctly go, that shouldn't happen. There's like 5 police officers beating the shit out of this one black guy. This isn't justice. And this will then become a thing of genuine injustice, the 5 police officers beating the shit out of one black guy who maybe didn't even do anything, which will then be transformed into, but you see, this is systemic oppression, you see. Yes, every police officer does this. This is why every black man is afraid to get out of his car when the police stops him. And eventually that becomes a larger and larger narrative until it becomes viewed as fact. I mean, there are so many. It started out with stand-up comedy. I remember this with stand-up comedy shows of the comedian explaining, like, okay, how to survive a traffic stop while black. And he's obviously taking the piss whilst he's doing it. Like, don't reach for anything, put your hands out of your car, all of the usual stuff. And everybody laughed, because it's like, that's silly. The police officer isn't going to shoot you just for, being pulled over in a speeding ticket. But then one instance like this happened, and people start getting the fear response. They start growing larger and larger until eventually this becomes a reality. Until you have classes going like how to survive a traffic stop and so on. And this in turn leads to people getting really fucking antsy at traffic stops, which leads to people getting violent at traffic stop, which leads to police officers getting shot during traffic stops. And that too has happened now a worrying number of times. Which leads to the police officers getting even more worried, they're getting more antsy, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to be super careful at even a traffic stop, which makes them even more likely to make mistakes, which makes people even more nervous, like, holy shit, there is a possibility of getting killed in the traffic stop, and so on, 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 and so on. Until you arrive at today, where the police are trained in I think, well, there was one state at least, where the police was trained to bring out their guns at a traffic stop. So they're supposed to approach you as if you are potentially hostile, even if they're stopping you just to check your fucking license and registration, right? And now, obviously, you've got a point of contention and tension right there. The police are coming towards my car with their fucking Glocks out. And it's all so utterly retarded. Like, in most other societies, this is simply just not a problem whatsoever. Like, in Norway, for example, our police aren't even armed normally, alright? They need... hiccup. They need special orders to allow themselves to even carry weapons on their person. Otherwise, the weapon is to be locked in the car at all times. And they don't need it. Like, there's virtually no call for a police officer to bring out his gun in Norway. It is extraordinarily rare that there is a need for something like that. Now, this has also led to a couple of examples where it's seen as a little bit ridiculous, like the Nukas bank robbery, for example, where the police were sitting around corners with their tiny little fucking revolvers, whilst bank robbers were firing at them with assault rifles. That is the inverse of all of this, where it gets ridiculous the other way, so... Right. Very, 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 very good surrounds there. Now, my supply situation is... still not exactly great. Right. Time for the next step. Make sure that the lines are upgraded to level 3 now. Wherever we can. As we're going to start getting deeper in their countries. Right, we do not need more of those at the moment. That is superfluous to requirements. Could use a few more civilian factories. And how's my my rubber? It's still quite a while off. Okay. The temptation right now is to try to just rush north and try to overrun them. But again, the supplies are gonna murder me if I do that. So I think we need to be a bit more cautious before we start getting all running, screaming for the hills. Also, after a long, lengthy rant, let's see. Have I been missing stuff? I have, Youngson 2, for the love of God art. Use the Army tab and set to the Army logistical motorization. Then you don't have to manually do it. The mod has more than base. I can, but I don't have enough trucks to motorize everything. So right now I'm just motorizing what I need at that immediate point in time. Mechanics on duty on Streamlabs. The human brain is friend-coded. We will make anything our friend. Enclave. Yes, it is. Now, this is also partially because of the need to interact with other human beings in preferably a mutually beneficial way. So, most people, when they interact with a new person for the first time, will do so in as friendly a way as they can. Most people are going to try to be friendly on the first encounter. This is because our brain is at that point going like, oh hey, a new person. I wonder what kind of person they are. And you put your best foot forward and go like, hello, you know, I'm friend, I'm trustworthy. We should be able to work together, you and I. This does not always work out, of course. Sometimes the other person is not friend-coded, and you are going to have to learn that the hard way. Sometimes people are going to screw you over. This is particularly common in the internet as well, where our... oh, I have more stuff. Cool. Boat scientist, you good boat person. Figure out submarine. Well, shit, can't figure out submarine. Can't figure out anything, actually. Where the human brain, too, has a far harder time viewing somebody on the internet as a real person. This is why people are often very mean to each other on the internet. Very, 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 very upset and mean with each other occasionally. This is also why the parasocial relationship can grow very strong on the internet. Because you're kind of blowing a lot of emotions out of proportions. The friend response can be significantly stronger than normally, as can the enemy response. This is also why we know that a perceived betrayal by an internet persona can actually be seen as an even worse betrayal than the exact same by a friend, a close human, real-life friend, or family member, which is fascinating to me, by the way. And it also means that a lot of people will have no problems throwing other people on the internet under the bus with no compunctions or problems whatsoever, and they will justify it to themselves like that person wasn't real. They weren't really their friend anyways, and so you can, you know, do the shit that you would never do to an actual, literal other person to them. I've experienced this on multiple goddamn occasions myself. Ultramarines! This one's good, this one's good. Where I meet people whom I help, whom I give exposure to, and I give help to their channel, etc. This was the reason why I did the community spotlight. Way back in the day. This is ancient Arch Warhammer lore, where I used to bring on just smaller creators, whoever it was. One of them was Chapter Master Valrak. Another was Major Kill. And I literally did it. I contacted them. It's like, hey, YouTube is pretty cool. You know, I see you're trying to do YouTube. I want to help you do YouTube as well, because this is a really nice job. And they were like, oh yeah, no, that's amazing. That's great. You're doing well for doing this. Like, thank you. Pure bullshit from end to top. They were never looking for any sort of friendly relations or whatever. They were simply looking for getting ahead. That was the end of the day. The completeness of their moral calculus was, oh hey, here's somebody who could help me get ahead in this thing that I'm doing. And I have no intention to reciprocate or even think of them fondly thereafter. Which baffled me at the time, because I was like... Because I'm the exact opposite again. I view people very positively almost immediately, which is, how's it going, bitten me in the ass on more than one occasion. And something that I have to try and fix, I suppose you can say. To view people less positively. So this is kind of like two extremes of the same problem, in essence. Okay, we got that close off. I wandered quite a far away from the original point here, which was the human beings need to cooperate with other human beings. Which maybe we'll return to if I remember it. Mechanics on duty. Why Arch no read Streamlabs? Enclave. Because I was sidetracked with things and thinking about things. I note that down too. There you go. A popular attraction. After we place the golden magical artifact On public display at our capital, with proper security measures, of course, it initially only attracted a few curious visitors. However, as word spread, more and more citizens arrived to admire the object and experience the tingly feeling emanating from its magical auras. Soon enough, even individuals from abroad started appearing, traveling to our nation just so they could see the famed item for themselves. So far, admission to see the item has been free of charge, but with how many visitors are coming, it might be needed to impose some fees or limitations. Thankfully, no harmful side effects from the artifact have been spotted yet. So it seems to be harmless to admire it from a safe distance. Well, good. If it had turned out that we'd put a radioactive isotope on display, that would have been, well, kind of shit, but we haven't, so yay. Everything worked out perfectly. Wing body's being spicy down there. I should still have plenty of time before wing body starts getting really spicy, I hope. As I don't want to need to survive a two-front war right now. I am making very, very, very good progress against Chaos. Better than I'd expected, honestly. But that does not, by any stretch of the imagination, mean that I'm ready for two of these conflicts to be ongoing at once. Definitely not. Right, keep pushing. Screw over the organization to make it difficult for them to attempt any sort of counterattacks. There. Nice. But yes, to return to the original point, which we left behind quite some while ago, the human initial instinct for cooperation was obviously so as to seek out beneficial partners to build communities with. Because humans very quickly understood that living together in packs was massively advantageous over living separately. A larger community could grow more food more reliably. It could hunt better. It offered superior protection against predators. Oh, flamethrower tanks. It offered superior ability to build, to create larger structures, to create more. As a whole, I surround, I only notice now. To create more functional organizational systems. Overall, it seemed to be pretty much nothing but advantages to live in, well, flocks, essentially. And so humans started to seek that out. But there are many dangers with including yourself within a larger organization. You might be taken advantage of, for example. Those who are already in the organization might simply take you to be cheap labor, or somebody without close familial connections to the rest of the group might be abused. They might even be eaten, and so on. So you needed to have a way to determine what kind of people were suitable to build with, the kind of people you could trust. And that's how we developed our best foot forward strategy, where we would present ourselves in as luminescent a way as we could, and then hopefully everybody will be able to cooperate and work together. Now, this does tend to break down over the long term as people's inner demons start coming out, but it is still an excellent way to begin, at least, figuring out who can and cannot be trusted, even if it is far from a flawless system. It kind of mirrors how we figure out what to eat as well. Humans are, of course, as we all know, omnivorous. Now, omnivorous creatures, they have some unique challenges that many others do not. See, a predator knows that it needs to eat meat. That's instinctual. A lion goes like zebra made of meat, therefore zebra nom nom. Simple. Herbivores are usually programmed with some sort of innate instinct for what they're supposed to eat. Koalas, for example, know that they're supposed to eat eucalyptus along with their bamboo, because bamboo is actually poisonous. Which means... I'm sorry. I'm occasionally going to have to stop speaking. The fall of Crystal City, damn. Because I'm currently obsessively chewing at my own lip. This is one of my little things that I do. My little things. A obsessive compulsive disorder. Oh god. You're not doing as well as you did initially, did you? I wonder who's worse, Chrysalis or Sombra, yeah. Come on, Dawnbreaker. You need to start kicking in the gear here if you want to survive. Although the Changeling Empire will be a decent last boss as well, I suppose. Where was I? That's a fucking amazing question. Where was I? Oh, yes. Bamboo. What was it? No, eucalyptus is the one that's poisonous, isn't it? Basically, one of the things that koalas eat is poisonous. And so normally, animals don't eat that. So why do koalas? Well, because koalas know that there is another thing they can eat as well in combination with the thing that is poisonous to actually render it harmless. And this is worked into their, well, very existence. Now, omnivores usually don't have that. In fact, they virtually never have that. Except for occasionally some things like understanding that brightly colored things might be bad for you, for example. Meaning that when we enter into a new biome, on the one hand, we'll always have loads of food because we can eat meat, we can eat plants, we can eat berries, and so on. But on the other hand, we don't know what we can actually eat. And so we need to balance out the need between finding food, with not eating something that is going to give us the apocalyptic shits and killing us. This then means that we need to balance these competing interests, and one of the ways we do this is by having members of society with different degrees of interest in new things. This is something that we have scientifically proven, that there are some people who are way more open to new experiences than others, and it is therefore theorized that this is an adaptive measure. Essentially, we have the guinea pigs of society. The guinea pigs of society are the guys who will see a brightly colored berry and think to themselves, well, it might not be poisonous, and will then eat the brightly colored berries. Whilst the rest of members of society, the conservative side, will look at the brightly colored berry and go, normally, brightly colored berries are really, really bad for my stomach. I'm not gonna eat that. But Frank, who I know to be a little bit of an adventurous masochist, I bet I could trick him into eating it. And Frank's developmental function is then eating the berry. This is a strange tangent we've wandered off on, I must say. I'm not even entirely sure why, how, when. I don't know how we got into this deep into the weeds, but here we are. Look around, chat. Are you enjoying the sights? Do you see anything you remember? Do you see Frank, or at the very least his body? Has he been fully desiccated yet? Emaciated? Drained of fluids? Did he shit himself to death like we all anticipated? The chaos resistance in front of me is falling by the wayside rather rapidly, which I am happy to see. Max K, you need to set up regular stream with Savvy. Your degeneracies perfectly complement one another. Maybe I'll steal Savvy away. Like, I think Savvy's like a personal? Isn't Savvy like a permanent guest on a bunch of shows, though? Savvy's a very popular person, apparently. Otherwise, I totally would.
I've lost. Shit.
Maybe I can lure her back with promises of Lum Lum. Right. You know, with the amount of damage done, I think we can actually probably just declare a general advance. This is not necessarily smart, mind you. But I feel like with all of the damage we've got done here, I might be able to get away with it. And if I can get away with it, I'll end the war a lot quicker. And if I end the war a lot quicker, I'll bleed a lot less manpower. Oh, hey, we've actually got some mediums now. Okay, good. Attach those to the 1st Imperial Guard army. And we'll begin cleaning up some of this. The problem is going to be the supply network, which might very well just collapse completely on me. Alright. Get as much moisturized support as we can. Hopefully, it'll be enough. Right, more engines. Nice. That's 3 years ahead of time. That's probably a bit much. Yeah, probably a bit much. Right, what's next up on the priorities? Mechanized units? That would not be a terrible idea, actually. I really needed a commander with logistician trait, and I did not get one, which upsets me quite a bit. Meanwhile, you guys can start a little bit of exercise back there. Go, my darlings, go! Amos Acumen, I know, Frank. Good, you should make him eat your berries. Mr. Bob, 7370 has been a member for 24 months. Thank you, and now you have your cool-ass icon too. Hey, Pony Barch, how's the Crusade going? Speaking of, have you kept up with Trench Crusade? It looks like the Kickstarter is ending soon. Hail Arch. I have not been keeping up with Trench Crusade, no. Trench Crusade, due to their statement that we will accept no politics, except for left-wing politics, immediately turned me off pretty badly. Wait, did you... Oh god, you declared war on Nova Euphonia too, did you? Okay, well that explains why the Solar Empire is having a bit of a hard time here. And it does. Immediately turns me off pretty drastically. It's a product that I am not at all sure I wish to support at that point. It's like, okay, so you are going to be actively hostile towards me, and the best I can conceivably hope for is that you will treat me with only mute rather than active disdain. I don't know about that. Not that they need the support, they evidently did extraordinarily well on Kickstarter, so, you know, who am I to say anything about that? And it's also just, more and more, I've grown to dislike Grimdark a little bit. See, Grimdark, when done correctly, in a larger universe, like 40k used to do, and I've largely stopped doing now, if I'm to be honest, is super duper ultra awesome. I love it. But Grimdark as just a setting, I find to be quite flat when you start looking into it. If everything is just like, oh, everything sucks, everything is dark, everything is awful, okay, cool. But the moment then we start investigating things, it starts getting weird and dumb. For example, there was one unit that I quite liked in the Trench Crusade, which was the Suicided. So, the Suicided is a person who grows up in the demon-infested part of Earth. And they are taught, apparently, that God is the enemy. He is the enemy of everything. And one of the biggest bad things against God, one of the greatest, like, fuck yous you can do, is kill yourself. And so there are dedicated suicide spots where people go to do just that, in an act of FU against God, basically. And the most devoted, the ones who give the FU to God the most, are resurrected as headless, ghoulish creatures. As a sort of kind of mage-like thing, almost. And like, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds really grim and dark, definitely. But then I've started thinking, hold on. The demons have cities? There are demon cities with humans living in them. Humans that need food, air, water, oxygen, access to all of the basic resources. They need access to healthcare to stay alive and so on. Do they till the fields? What fields do they grow? What kind of crops do they get? How the hell do they survive, you know, within the area of the portal to hell, which the setting itself describes as being so unbearably hot that human beings literally can't approach it? Alright, what do the demons do? Do the demons just prey upon the humans? Do the demons value the humans? How do the demons behave? Are the humans resisting? Do they recognize the demons as demons? Are they simply so accustomed to the oppression that they don't give a shit anymore? Like, there are so many questions that are raised the moment you talk about something like a demonic civilization with humans in it that need answering, and I don't think this is a setting that will try to answer virtually any of these questions, as one of the primary draws of Grimdark usually is a lot of mystery. The Eye of Chaos, the entire concept of chaos, was intended to be a grand mystery, like, oh god, what's in there? What goes on in there? That it was basically supposed to be analogous to hell, largely. And obviously, the hell in Trench Crusade is supposed to be kind of largely the same thing, where it's just this hellish realm. But you then immediately also begin asking a further question, like, okay, if hell is so incredibly vast as they describe it, so incredibly huge, filled with billions and trillions of demons, inhabited by unbelievably powerful godlike entities, why the fuck are they waging war? Couldn't they just conquer us? Why aren't they conquering us? Well, you see, the demons, they don't actually really care, you see. Their time flows differently to them, so they don't give a shit about conquering Earth. Okay, why are they even bothering with invading then? Oh, because they want Earth, but if they want Earth, why don't they just take it? Oh, because they don't really care. It's like, we start running into so many contradictions that my brain begins to hurt. And this is also sort of basically fundamental to the idea of the setting, which is the main artist simply just drawing whatever the hell he wants to draw, and then somebody else creates lore and stories around it, basically. Yeah. Maybe it's my petty jealousy of creating my own setting, but I find it lazy. It's like, what's your setting like? Well, everything is horrible. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being salty. Entirely possible. Did just Aztec civilization. See, that's an interesting one, actually. So, Aztec civilization is quite a cool one when it comes to a sacrificial culture, because Aztecs, they did two things that were fascinating. The first was the constant warfare to feed sacrifices. Okay, why are they sacrificing people? Well, their official line, quote-unquote, is that they sacrifice people because otherwise the gods will be upset with them, and the sun won't rise. It'll bring about the apocalypse. Okay. But why will it bring about the apocalypse? Well, it's because the gods are terrible. Oh, Jesus. All right. So why are we even appeasing the terrible gods then? Can we fight them somehow? Is there any way to resist? Like, no, you can't resist the gods. No way whatsoever. Even by withholding sacrifices, which they apparently need. And this then becomes, because the apocalypse is going to come anyway. So if we don't sacrifice things, the apocalypse is just going to happen regardless. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And all of this is, of course, not actually about the gods coming to destroy the world. It is about justifying an extraordinarily expansionist and aggressive warrior culture, where young men's status is determined by their ability to wage war, by their ability to go out and get captives. You need a way to rationalize and justify those actions morally by, staving off the end of the world, and more materially by going like, no, you're not just wild savages going out there to kill and maim. You're doing this for a reason. Of course, you're doing this to avoid the end of the world. As all religion is usually based in some form of human rationalization. But of course, again, this doesn't actually work if the gods are actually real. That's where the problem sets in. If God is actually real, and he actually just wants to eat your fucking soul, well, shit. Complications are beginning to grow plenty there again. I'm gonna need to repaint the front line, aren't I? Because now everything is kind of messed up with all of these dumb little borders and stuff and the stupid little mountain pass thingies. Cancel that. And the issue now is the moment I try to do like a frontline thingy, it's probably gonna... Yes, because it severs each one of these into a separate front line, because it's kind of retarded like that. Right. You guys there. You guys there. And I'll split you in half. Oh, that was not splitting you in half. I'll split you in half. There you go. And you go over there. You go over there.
Heresy is the question. Fire is the answer.
You have to create a front line first. Alright, you guys. Just integrate yourselves into that bunch there. There you go. Can I do the front line thingy now? No, because everything is too messed up, isn't it? Yes, it is. Gosh darn it, I just wanted to automate the last painful part of this war. That was all I desired. That was all I wanted. That's all I wished for. But I will not get it. Right, there, just attack everything in front of you. And you as well. Just attack, attack, attack. It is all I need of you.
I have lost.
Relentless, aggressive expansionism is all I want, it is all I desire. That and for you to just wrap up all of this stuff, of course. There you go. Good boys. And yes, do complete that little surround of those Chaos Star Legionnaires there. No reason to let those run around unmolested. After all. Full aggression, lads. Absolute overwhelming violence. I don't even know if these guys can really go anywhere, as my supply situation continues to be absolutely fucking dreadful. Right. Motorize what you can. Try not to get caught up or surrounded or anything stupid like that, if at all possible. Rubbleleg 623, and then you have the extreme feminists who color themselves very brightly and yet also consume each other in equal measures. That too. So Dev is the eater of mysterious blueberries? Yes. Yes. Dev is the eater of mysterious political blueberries. Dev is the one that is thrown into the cavern of politics, and we see what happens to him. If he sinks, if he floats, if he shits himself, or whatever else happens. No matter what, Dev will have served his purpose of taste testing the waters of our political future. In this, Dev is tremendously valuable to all of us. Yes, nuclear research, why not? I see no reason why we should not research with nukes. So Jod, have you thought any further about Crusader King 2 and the boycott? Star Sector. The boycott? Are they boycotting it? I haven't even heard they were boycotting it. I am not particularly pro boycotts most of the time, seeing as boycotts rarely work. If anything, the negative word of mouth is the most effective thing, and it's already been getting plenty of that. So at this point, we are simply just going to look at it, see if it sinks or see if it swims. The market shall decide. There, more dead Chaos Space Marines. You know, my pretties, I'm pretty sure you guys could attack far more aggressively than you are. In fact, I am absolutely certain that you would just run over any and all resistance in front of you. So please do. There's no reason why you should not simply run over all resistance in front of you. Come on, little shits. Crumble faster. You have basically no troops left. Just surrender. There's no more fight in you, filthy Chaos Heretics. You have been worshipping the wrong god. A lesson you will not survive learning. I already purged the shit out of my own nation. I killed my own citizens. Trust me. You will be, if anything, treated even more poorly, if that is even possible. I will find a way to treat you worse than I did my own citizens. Even if I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative about it.
Heresy is the question. Fire is the answer.
That is correct, chat. Heresy is the question. Fire is the answer. Fire is always the answer, in virtually every circumstance. This is some very cheery music we've got going right now. This is some very cheery music. There we go. Okay. The rush was the correct choice. Simply bum rushing their borders was the correct choice. Thank fuck for that. It's cost me though. Probably the attrition alone cost me thousands of units of equipment. Now, I gotta. Gotta set up the occupation thingy. Imperial Guard Division, no. Let's not use the Imperial Guard for occupying simple territory. That seems like an absolute, utter and complete waste. There. A simple garrison. I haven't researched military police yet, have I? That is what we call a sizable overlook. I have not. Jesus. Well, start. Cthulhian thought. I thought Aztecs believed gods are preventing the apocalypse and blood sacrifice needed to give them strength, hence a lot of self-bleeding rituals. Well, some of the gods. But many of the gods were also going to eat them, so, you know, conflict-style thing. Cthulhian thought. A young son. Shift-click frontline is... It acts as a single army. Oh, does it? And build 3 facilities each to get research point faster. I like this cheery music with my Space Marine onslaught. Indeed, it's quite nice. That's quite nice. I like it. It's nice and optimistic. The arch traitors due. Oh yes. And cancel the infrastructure. I'm not going to need it anymore. Yeah, just finish this line of mass civilian factories, and then we can start focusing in on some research nonsense instead. Make me into the industrial superpower I've always desired to be. The arch-traitor's due. The world around him was a maelstrom of fire and smoke and death, and Ferdinand coughed as he felt a metallic taste fill his mouth. He was down on his knees, struggling to get up. His entire body felt like lead, and he looked around himself. His warriors were still fighting, yet dying one after another, as Bolson rounds ripped through them. Grenades exploded to his left, tearing a barricade to shreds, and sending several fighters into the air. A Void Knight charged against the approaching figures, only to be stopped in his track as a gleaming glaive impaled him. A massive boot kicked the Void Knight's limp body away to reveal bronzed armor and bared fangs. The captain of the Bronze Custodians. The towering dog slowly approached him, his face twisted in contempt as he raised the glaive again. Dawnclaw shrieked in wild rage, a guttural animal sound, and hate gave him strength where his body failed. He charged, moving like a speeding truck and crashing against the custodian with a wild two-clawed swing. The dog grunted, being pushed back over a meter, but Dawnclaw's sword only met the plated shaft of the custodian's glaive. Screaming in frustration as he was pushed back, Dawnclaw charged again, swinging his sword wildly only to have every blow picked out of the air by his opponent's whirling glaive. And out of nowhere, the butt of the staff flew out, striking into his chest with enough force to make his entire body jerk. Gasping, he slowly sank down to the ground as the air was knocked out of him, and he found himself unable to move. "Now die as you deserve, traitor," the guard captain said as he walked to the side, raising his glaive up to the sky. Dawnclaw's talons bit into the blasted earth beneath him as he tries to make himself move. It was all in vain, however, and the blade fell to cleanly decapitate him. Reaching down, the custodian picked up the severed head and returned back into the smoke from whence he had come. The focus tree will change. Oh my. Do we have more focusers? We do have more focusers. Good. Good. More focusers. Ooh, Solar Empire. Why are you falling? Why are you failing, Solar Empire? Listen, I can't offer you much because I literally don't have much. But I will give you what I can. Start shipping over fucking muskets. ancient-ass cannons. Some trucks. Knives. Whatever I can. I want the Solar Empire as the last boss, goddammit. There you go. Hopefully that will help you out a little bit. I don't even have enough bolters for myself. I can't give her bolters. I don't even think she could use the bolters, unfortunately. I think she would be unable to appreciate the boltiness of my bolters. Tragic though that may be. Mothership wings? Do we have flying carriers in here somewhere? Because I like the idea of flying carriers quite a bit. 100% boost, eh? That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice, but we can wait a little longer for that. Alright, well, finish up these things first. And then we'll worry about the rest. God, I lost a lot of armor and a lot of bolters in that conflict. Jesus. I thought I had a halfway decent supply, but I have been thoroughly abused of that notion. At least now I can finally get rubber. That's good. Okay, that's probably enough of that. Right, how many things of what do I have now? I have 4 facilities. Okay. So 2, so I need another land, 2 more air, 2 more water, okay. Right, land, 2 more air, 2 water. Advanced magical facilities? Yes. Advanced nuclear research facilities? Absolutely. Build all of it, and after that, I'm going to need to industrialize my entire coast. We're gonna need some serious fucking navies in the future, lads. No matter who comes out victorious on the other side of the world, we're either going to be fighting a massive chrysalis empire, or we're gonna be fighting the solar empire. Either way, there's going to be something on the other side of the ocean that is going to require dealing with. Forever Sun. Many things have changed in Equestria lately, but reverence to ancient tradition has not. Devoted zealots and fanatics have assembled today in Canterlot to witness the Summer Sun celebration. What has become of it? Accompanied by a strong military presence, Empress Daybreaker climbed the raised dais, gave a fiery speech to the crowd, praising them for their loyalty to the new regime, while singling out ponies who weren't displaying sufficient reverence. With a bombastic orchestral arrangement performed by the Canterlot Opera House, the Empress rose the sun, and the ponies bowed down, for they were unworthy to gaze at her splendor. Afterwards, Daybreaker lambasted the enemies of the state, promising each and every one of them an infernal end. Should we be worried? No, 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 no. This is entirely natural, although she is getting eaten away at dangerously quickly. I don't like it. I don't like it, chat. I don't like it one bit. She must rally. It is imperative she rallies. Don't the changeling get super nerfed when they win? They do, which is what I'm worried about. Oh boy, it's not looking good for her. It's not looking good for her at all. I mean, she's fighting back. She's fighting back. It's a bit of back and forth. Come on, Celestia. You gotta win this one. Very important. Speaking of very important, what is my new focus tree about? Alright. The Imperial Reclamation Services. The Holy Inquisition, yes! Our cause is more than just, it is sacred! And all who stand against us represent a darkness that would throw Griffinkind into an eternal dark age if they were allowed to triumph. We must meet these threats with and without, with not only resolve, but with all the tools available through our holy struggle. Yes.
You ignorant slut.
That is correct. That is correct, indeed. We must drive them from our shores. They are different from us, and thus they cannot be trusted. This is known, Khaleesi. This is known and understood. More trucks. More small arms. More artillery. More fighters, more bombers, more everything. We can import everything we need now that we have access to the Great Blue Sea again. No longer shall our glorious empire be held back by the silly restraints of measly economic realities. We shall grow and grow and grow until we incompose the stars themselves. Literally, the stars themselves. Now, well, most of you actually managed to get trained in the Crucible of War, so I suppose I could simply just accept that. Naval Aviation. Rubberleg623 for 10. Heads up, Arch. For you, Arch. When you take the folks and start recruiting Inquisitors, be careful when you send them into the decisions. Or they send them to a territory that you do not have as a core already. Really now? Begin rooting out resistance. And I can get those military police now. Yeah, get in a military police there. And with the MPs in the occupied territories, garrison, now help. And make sure that we are doing...
I have lost. Shit.
Integration wherever possible. Okay. No communism, no. We just need to wait for their resistance strength to fall as their compliance rises, then they can be integrated fully into the Griffonian Empire. Ban communism? I think I like the idea of banning communism, but they're pretty much eradicated anyway, so I suppose they don't really need to. At Rob623, if you send them to a place that is already cored, it'll soft lock and you won't be able to pacify other territories and be stuck with a manpower drain. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Thank you for the warning.
I have
Thumbs up.
lost.
And check occupation laws to prevent this. You unlock integration via the Inquisition. Well, I already have the integration going on actually. So maybe it's like a faster way of doing it, perhaps. Because I've already integrated these places. Because I've already it's there. I've integrated these places already. So there's presumably some sort of mix thing there. Right, you start working on super heavy howitzers. Are you? Are you doing something? One. Wait, is it like busted or something? Like not repaired? Oh, it's probably because it's not in a core, I'm guessing. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy. Solar Empire. Radar, mothership aircraft. Oh, jet, yes. Mothership aircraft. I like the sound of that, yes. Yes, please. I would like a mothership aircraft. I like the sound of a mothership aircraft. I think I want that. We might need to cheat a little bit.
You ignorant slut.
To prop up the solars here. They're not doing great. They are not doing great because the poor changelings get really badly debuffed when they win, which means they're not a good threat. Chat can decide. There. If we're gonna save the Solar Empire, I think we're gonna have to cheat a little bit. But either the Solar Empire or the Changelings, your choice. And Rubber Legs again, thank you. You unlock integration for territory, you conquer the upcoming Crusade, check the bottom of the new focus tree. Oh, okay, so the next territory up. I see. Chrysalis needs a win. I mean, you can always fortify the vote if you wish as well. Just saying. Always open for a bit of fortification. Oh, I'm finally at the max special forces cap, am I? Okay, good. How many? Many. 22. 22 Space Marine forces. Oh, that's a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. I'm wondering if I've buffed them enough now. I've already given the Solar Empire a fair bit of a buff. And Equestria too. Solar Empire at 72%. Looks like the solar people want the Solar Empire. Enemy agent turn. Well, that's nice. And become spy master and add some partisans. Oh, poor bastards. Alright, 71% for Solar Empire, I see. Right, overwhelmingly for the Solar Empire. Okay. We're gonna be cheating. We're gonna be cheating, chat. Remember, you asked for this. You can't blame me. You cannot criticize me for what I must now do. Poor Chrysalis. Chrysalis always loses, so I figured this would be a done deal. I figured she would just, you know, drop dead, like she always does. But just this once, Chrysalis did well. Just this one sole singular time, Chrysalis actually did really, 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 really well. And we have to take that away from her. It's truly terrible. Absolutely disgusting, chat. Absolutely disgusting. There. I know the screen blocker is up. I put it up. Silly chat. With a little bit of luck, that should do it. The Solar Empire. Weaker than I had anticipated. Softer, gentler. Disappointment. Should have buffed it more. Annihilate the heresy. The promise of Griffin kind. This Imperium was born as a promise to Griffin kind. A promise of dominance over the continent that bears their name. It has failed in this promise, and this error shall be rectified. My Emperor, this means that the Imperium will march to war. When they do, what will become of those not of Griffin birth? Puppy asked humbly, and of all the bureaucrats and guards that surrounded the Emperor, he alone had been granted this right to speak openly. He wielded this privilege carefully, though, well aware of how great it was. What of my people? They will have your kind to thank for their place in the Imperium. You were the first to my side, and your people have served with distinction. Those who emulate your example will be worthy. And what if they don't? Puppy asked hesitantly. The Emperor was quiet for a moment, and when we spoke again, it was with a grim tone of finality. Then they stand in the way of destiny, and will pay the price. There is no compromising this great task. Genocide. My favorite. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's a hard time to not be a Griffin, chat. It's a damn hard time to not be a Griffin. It's going to suck a great deal, I'm afraid. But such is life. If you're born wrong, then what can you do? You simply must be exterminated. It may be a great and terrible shame, but such is reality. Such is the world, and we must live with it. Poor Chrysalis. To come so close to victory and be so cruelly denied by the whims and vagaries of chat. Truly, she is the most unfortunate little grill, and I feel for her. I really do. I feel bad for Chrysalis. She does not deserve this. The last heretics hunted down. Their corpse emperor lies dead. And yet his slaves keep fighting as if they have something left to fight for. What? This weakling Star Knight is better to refuse to yield. I feel as if this is a... What? And are fighting us from the shadows where they are not strong enough to face us directly. The defiance would be admirable were their cause not so pathetic. But we will teach them. General Barghest has provided us with tools for these errant knights. As we defeat them, those who are not granted the mercy of death are dragged back to Cloudberry, where the sacrophage of despair awaits them. They scream and they struggle as we seal them up in there. Their futile resistance matters not. Soon they will be properly broken and inducted into our ranks. Those other griffins who try to resist are of less concern, and at best they provide amusement as we hunt them down to see what new methods we can find of breaking them. Nothing will remain of those who thought to throw their allegiance before the corpse when we are done. Nothing but piles of skulls and rivers of blood. I think we've confused a couple of, Hold on. Firepower? I can choose? I was unaware of this. Wait. Should I be building multiple facilities on top of each other? Why are they separated? I am confused and scared as to why they are separated. Why does that one research slightly faster than the other ones? Okay. Do I... No, I don't upgrade it. Okay, no, so there doesn't seem to be any way to upgrade it, so I don't think so. Okay, I'm probably doing it correctly. Possibly. It has to do with supply. Oh, does it? Okay. So I should just be building assloads of railways and infrastructure in the area. Alright, well that's useful to know, otherwise I'd be confused as to why it didn't research as quickly as the other ones. That is very good to know, actually. Supply and diminishing returns, okay. So, infrastructure. Loads and loads of infrastructure, loads and loads of railways. Makes sense. The refinement of the biological. No scientist can claim to be the Rector Dominus' equal, yet 1,000 lesser minds working together may still, bit by bit, find ways to refine his great accomplishment. No. No. That way lies madness. Do not think you can improve upon the God Emperor's design. The Unification Wars. That's a good title. I like that. Skyfall Coast, the periphery around the lake. The errant chapters. The hill ponies of the far northeast. Okay, so play these first. Before anything else. The Skyfall Republic. Hold on, I'm pretty sure. Haven't I already eaten the Skyfall Republic? Okay, so Do not core them. Do that first, then core them. Right, I think I understand how that's supposed to work. Think. And thank you to Roblex for pointing that out. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to buff the Solar Empire some more. Otherwise, I fear they will collapse regardless, as, yeah, they're still not doing good, are they? The Griffonian Empire, renamed the Imperium of Griffinkind, has marched north and crushed the forces of the rogue General Ferdinand Dawnclaw. The ragtag forces of Dawnclaw, fighting under the banner of a strange esoteric cult calling itself the Dawnclaw Heresy, ended up unable to contend with the Imperium's Star Knights. And the Imperium is systematically tracking down every last member of the cult. Good. Good. So we are going to have a very short stream today of a measly 2 hours, particularly considering the 6-hour deluges of The Witcher. But I think I'm going to need to go in there and give the Solar Empire a fighting chance so that we can fight a proper war against Daybreaker when the time comes.
Shit.
Make sure you're ready for the Unification War before taking its focus, says Roblegs. It'll also declare all remaining Griffonian countries. Good to know. Thank you. Alright, very short stream today. Very painfully short stream. But thank you for watching, chat. Thank you for your donations, as always. Tomorrow is Arch and Sargon again. And I'm hoping we can probably... like a couple more and we can probably wrap this up. And we're probably what? We're like a third through The Witcher? If I'm being optimistic. Probably less, aren't I? Yes. But we'll get there, chat. We'll get there. One step at a time. Until next time, have a very good night, chat. And I hope to see you again tomorrow with Saga Rooney.